Welcome to our trip through London, and today we look at some blue plaques on some of the buildings in London which are easy to go past, but when you look at the history behind them, probably you just want to stop and linger just a little bit longer. Plus also an over 6-foot handbag. Here we're on Brook Street in Mayfair, and here we're here for a couple of musical plaques. Here we go back to the 1700s, and as you can see, George Handel, the famous composer, lived here from 1723 until he died, some nearly 40 years. And then next door, later on in life, is where Jimi Hendrix lived for just over a year. Over 200 years apart in time, but both having influence on music. And next door neighbours with it. This is the great thing about London. If you look up in the streets, you'll often see these blue heritage plaques, and it's worth just taking the time to stop and look at the buildings that these people lived in. This, for our second item, could be a delight for many people. Its over 6-foot tall handbag is outside Phoenix and is at the corner of New Bond Street and Brook Street in the centre of Mayfair. The positioning for this statue probably couldn't be much better, being in the middle of Mayfair. Titled the Bag of Aspirations, it certainly would be for some people. Now here for its second year, this label gives you an idea from the artist's perspective of what this is all about. For those like me, sort of uneducated and just walking through the streets of London and coming across a massive handbag, it looks realistic and doesn't really look out of place, funnily enough. Also, it's interesting that it looks so realistic, but it is just solid steel. And finally, welcome to number 14 Savile Row. We've covered this street in previous videos, known for its bespoke tailoring. Here though, for a short time before his death, was the home of the Irish-born playwright and MP, Richard Sheridan. Sheridan had serious financial problems in his later years, which apparently continued even after his death. A visitor to see the corpse claimed to be a long-lost relative eager to pay their respects, but when the coffin was opened, he revealed himself to be a bailiff and promptly arrested the dead man for non-payment of bills. So much in debt was Sheridan when he died, his funeral wasn't allowed to take place until his friends had paid off the debts. Thanks for joining us for today's video, and hope you enjoyed our visit around London to see some of the unusual things that have happened, but also things that so many people miss. Although that giant handbag isn't really something you can miss. Anyway, if you like stuff like that, there's more Secret London in the playlist up in the top right. See you there.